What's up everyone, my name is David Arroyo, and in this video we're going to be talking a little bit about storyboarding while you'll watch me storyboard an assignment that I've done with my students in class about a month or two ago maybe, I don't remember, it's been a while. I've been extremely busy with the course that I give, that I now give to concept artists but also to 3D artists, because I also teach sculpting and substance painter, mixer. We're also going to be doing character modeling, with rigging and all that stuff in this year. We're going to do environments in 3D. So we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. And it's been very, very busy. So, yeah, while you watch me storyboard this assignment that I've done with my students this year, I'll maybe give an update on what's been going on and how busy I've been, which you can see by this full-blown mustache and beard. All right, let's get into it, and I'll see you in the storyboarding session. Okay, so here we go. This is the assignment that we are going to be looking at, the storyboard one, the first one that I did with one of the classes, and this is the other one that we're going to be looking at, which I did with the second class, and we're just going to be looking at how that was made. Now, this is an assignment that I started in 2019 when I started to teach in Antwerp, and these are the examples, or the previous ones, that you can also see on my YouTube channel, by the way. These are from previous years. I'll add a link in the descriptions below. Right, so getting back to this one, which is the one that we're going to be looking at, and I'll talk a little bit about storyboarding, and also just in general a little bit about what's been going on in the background, because I haven't been posting videos for a while, and I've just been ridiculously busy. But anyways, let me first quickly go over the storyboarding exercise, and then later on I'll do a general catch-up. Right, so the storyboarding thing about this, and you could do this at home, by the way, it's a super easy assignment. Anyone can do this, and you don't need anything except for just a timer and 9 scenarios that you create for yourself. So just come up with 9 specific scenarios, like a very simple description of a shot. So that's what I do, right? So I come up with 9 different shots, and I provide these 9 shots on a board, so on a screen for about 20 minutes. They stay there, so they get it's kind of like from a script, right? It's like the way you would write a few sentences in a script, and I leave that there for 20 minutes, and then the students can draw out the particular shot, just one shot. Okay, so it's not something that follows up. So I shall see shot number 1 and 2 and 3. They've got nothing to do with each other. They're completely separate from each other and have just completely different stories or backgrounds to it, right? So the very first one is, for example, just a guy sitting in a toilet checking his mobile phone, something that we can all relate to, I assume, from time to time. The second one is just a girl listening to some music in her bedroom. The third one was, I believe, a knight talking to her squire over a campfire. And if you see that I'm still doing some shading afterwards, it's because when you see me move on to the next shot, that means that the time or the 20-minute timer went off, and then I move on to the next one, just so that I can stay on time. So it's basically 9 shots and 20 minutes each. We tend to normally do 5 shots, one after the other, without a break. Then we take normally a 15-minute break in class, and then we come back and finish the 4 remaining shots. Now, because of the nature of this exercise, it's timed. So for some people, this might be very stressful because you've got 20 minutes to draw a specific shot that has been described. And some of the shots are more difficult than others. So that's why you will literally just see me jump between shots and then come back later if I have a little bit more time. So say, for example, you're working on shot number, like the one I'm working on now, right? With some native Indians and a cowboy that is on the ground who was trespassing, right? So if I finish this shot before the 20 minutes are up, then I have a little bit more time to go back like I did right now, to go on the previous shot and do some shading, and then come back to the native Indians, for example, and then in a few seconds, the timer will go again, and then I'm moving on to the next shot, which will pop up anytime now. There you go, right? And so it's a really good exercise. Like I said, anyone can do this. You can ask a friend or family member or anyone just for a few fun scenarios or shots. So the only thing is that they do not follow each other up. Okay, so it's not a sequence. It is literally just individual shots that like as if you would have paused a movie and just looked at the scene at hand. All right, so like the actual shot at hand. And that's the exercise. I do this every year. It's one of my favorite exercises because it teaches you a lot of stuff. You can get a lot of practice in by just you get to learn stuff like composition. You get to learn how to distribute your values. You get to learn framing. You get to learn visual storytelling. How to best frame the description. And because I storyboard as a profession as well, next to teaching, then it might happen a little bit quicker for me than for a lot of my students, but it's still a really cool exercise, and I get a lot of students that come back saying that they really enjoyed it, even though it was a very difficult exercise for them, or the grand majority of them. But they really enjoy it. So if, for example, you are someone that also likes to do stuff like storyboarding, or you are very interested in story art, or you want to practice getting better at lining up shots, which could even be very useful if you're doing comics, because in comics we know that the aspect ratio is not always the same, so you can have frames that are traditionally shot like in a film, and you've got frames that are more vertical, so all that stuff can happen, but it's still a good practice because you really get to own your skills a little bit and try new things out, and you really have to use your brain. You have to think a lot. You also don't have to do like shading, right? I do shading. I add my gray values so that it reads a little bit better, but you can do it just in black and white, just in simple black and white, even if at home your results don't look anything like this, you only get to do a few lines or whatever. That is fine. Storyboards do not have to be amazingly beautiful or very detailed or anything like that. The most important thing about a storyboard, especially when you do it in a sequence, is how the storyboards read, right? So that a director or director of photography or anyone else that is involved in the project can just quickly get a preview of what needs to happen and how the shot is lined up. Of course, if the drawings are more detailed, of course it helps. It helps to sell the vision a little bit better. Hence why when, for example, I do storyboards where I have to prep, do some prep work for financing, right? So that a financial department can greenlight a project, then my storyboards will be a little bit more detailed than in other scenarios. Whereas when I storyboard for film, and it's just the sequence that is important, and the shots have to come in much faster, then I'll just do less detail, and I for example won't add in these gray values and all that stuff. So there you go. That's the first one. Here's the second one that I did, I think, a few days after the first one with the second class. The good thing here is that students from the first class, if they really liked the exercise, they could come back and participate a second time to do this one as well. As you've noticed, the scenes or the shots are again completely different. They are again completely random. They do not follow each other in format. So and again, the way I start these off is with a line drawing. Okay, so I tend to start just black and white line drawing. I have done another version in the past, which is also on my YouTube channel, where I did more painting style, which also works well. I mean, I like the results as well. But I think I'm just so used to the line art that I've just, yeah, it's just become a habit to work that way. Also from my comic book background, as I have been playing around a lot with comics and stuff like that. So that kind of helps a lot. But again, it doesn't matter how you approach it. As long as you just follow these simple rules, you have your scenes and so your 9 shots that you come up with yourself, or you have someone come up with some shots for you, and just put them on the screen every 20 minutes, and then you move to the next one, and then you see how you've done. Why do I do them 20 minutes? It's because in professional storyboarding, when you do storyboarding for a client, for example, 20 minutes tends to be a good number for a good looking storyboard that you can do something with. So, and obviously also, I also tell this to my students, if for example you're not happy with the results, okay, just record your result at the end of it, and say, okay, this is what I've been able to do within 20 minutes for 9 shots, and then finish it up afterwards, right? And then save it again, and then you can see how much difference there was. So that's something that I've done, for example, for this second one, this second assignment. On the day that I was doing the assignment, I think I was like either very tired or something. You'll see, I've still managed to get all the shots done, at least in line art. But also sometimes when you get too caught up in a particular scene, like I think in this 4th shot, I started focusing too much on the actual environment, the drawing, this and that, all the tiny little details, that then you end up just, daydreaming about that, and you lose a lot of valuable time. Because look, the drawing in the 4th shot is not even finished yet, and I'm already moving on to the 5th one. So meaning that I'm already falling behind if I were to do all the shading, right? So I was lucky that this shot was actually quite easy. This the 5th one. And so that gave me a little bit of time to see moving back to number 3, because number 3 was nowhere near finished, even in line art. And so timing is important, but the reason for 20 minutes is, like I said, in a professional environment, 20 minutes is an acceptable time frame, because then you would do, this takes about, I guess, 3 hours and something in total. Let me see. If we have 9 shots, it's 3 hours basically. If you were to time it, because 20 plus 20 plus 20, that's 60 minutes is 1 hour, and you've got 9 shots, so that's 3 hours, right? So for 3 hours work, you got 20 shots, you got 9 shots, sorry. And then for another 3 hours, so that's 6 hours, you got your 18 shots. Normally when you work in storyboarding, if you hand your client about 20 shots a day, like say in advertising or something, if you're like doing storyboards for advertising or something, if you hand in 20 nice storyboards in a day, that is pretty much acceptable in terms of work, or at least with the people that I've worked with, they were quite satisfied with 20 shots in a day's time. If you need to do more, sure, of course you can do more, then you just spend less time per shot. You could sometimes do up to 100 shots per day if you dedicate much less time to all the details and stuff, and then it's just a different way and style of working when you do that. But so that's basically the assignment, and like I said, give it a try at home. Like you see, there are many shots here now that are just in black and white, and you can just go for black and white and just leave the gray values out if you don't have the time for it. That is also fine. Like I said, there is no right or wrong in here. It's just a matter of you trying things out, whatever works for you best, what you can learn the most from. And then whenever you feel comfortable and you want to do gray values as an addition, then you do that. Also, as you've noticed here, yeah, there are different drawing styles. So for example, the drawing that I'm doing now is more a cartoony version versus the shot above it. So again, it all just depends in what direction you want to go. But that's the fun part of this, of this exercise. Right, then now that you've got a very good idea of this exercise, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on behind the scenes and what might be happening moving forward on this YouTube channel, because as you've noticed, I haven't been uploading a lot of videos lately, and it's very simple. It's just I've been very, very busy. I've been teaching. This summer I moved homes, so I've got a different house now because we've got a third child, and our baby needed a room for himself as well. So we needed to upgrade our residential situation. That took a lot of time because we're two full-time parents. Me and my wife, we both work full-time, and we've got 3 kids. Plus I'm teaching. I got a lot of students, and it's just been very, very hectic. So it's been taking a long time just to get things done. And so that's what happened. And then after that, so I started teaching. Also, I started teaching new modules. This year, I also joined the 3D department, and I also started teaching so character modeling, advanced character modeling. So that's basically sculpting, everything to do with sculpting in ZBrush and Blender, so that students can learn how to sculpt anatomy, so that they can learn how to do characters with clothing, everything on it. And then they're going to do rigging and all that type of stuff, and then texturing in Substance Painter and in Mixer by Quixel. So I've been teaching these lessons as well, and in what's upcoming in the second part of the course, which starts basically next week, also 3D environments. So then the students are going to, or I'm going to teach a module where I show my students how to create a kit bash system in 3D, so that they can make all these different 3D meshes and then kit bash them together into an environment. It has to be a functional environment, so there has to be a little bit of a story in it. But they can do this as a group or as a individual. So they have to do all these things in order to progress in the course of a 3D artist, right? Because there's another teacher as well, really good one as well, that teaches then rendering and lighting and all that stuff. So there you go. That's basically what's been going on. But I've been so busy. The course itself has taken up so much of my time, because normally I would have done a lot of the prep work during the summer. But considering I have all my family that moved abroad, I have no more family, or barely any family left where I live, which is in Belgium in Europe. And so there you go. This is the final result for the second shot. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked this video. I hope it provided you a little bit of some insight into what I've been up to and what's coming. And there we go. All right. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.